Good evening, everybody. It's Coffee Talk with Shining Survivors. And I've got my coffee tonight, guys. I had an early morning for work and I'm really got my coffee going. Um, by you guys can tell by the title of this live, it is about our kids taking the same path in life that we do. And I say this because it's very recent. We've had something that happened in my personal life with my kids, one of my kids. Um, But before, hey CJ, I see you down there, and Ink and Dusty. Um, Before I get off on this topic, there's one thing that I do want to address. And last time I was live, we had a panel guest come up, um, and we had people in chat that were chatting. And this person on panel decided to go at it with someone in our chat. I'm going to say this. When you come and you're a guest on somebody else's channel, especially in our group here, you're welcome. Unless there's something going on and you're blocked for some reason, I mean, hey. But when we have a panel guest, if you have a beef with anybody who is in my chat, you need to go ahead and leave and take it to your channel, take it to your chat. I just don't appreciate somebody in our chat being attacked from someone on the panel. Now, I had to go back and kind of read some of the chat that was going on, because I didn't read it all when it was coming up. I know I'm bad about that night, but this person who was in my chat had never been over here before. She was not saying any lies. She wasn't telling untruths, and she wasn't being rude. What she was doing was being truthful. And as YouTube goes, you have to show receipts for everything, right? So this person has receipts as well, and has put them out there. But the point is, do not come up on my panel, our panel, because there's a group of us who are up here usually, and get rude with somebody in our chat. I do not care if you can't stand them. Look at this channel as being Switzerland. Do not go and attack someone in my chat. That was totally uncalled for, totally unnecessary. I do not do that to anyone else, and I don't appreciate it getting done to me. And I find myself saying that a whole lot. I always, I tell my kids, I'm not speaking to you that way. Please do not speak to me that way. Have a little respect. If you just cannot contain yourself because there's somebody in the chat that's chatting with other people, then you need to go ahead and leave and go on out. The same person was saying, how, oh, we love you, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as this person left, she was bad mouthing all of us on somebody else's channel in their chat. And then even continued to go after and attack the same person she was attacking on panel. Or I shouldn't say attacking, but going after the same person who was in the chat for went off of panel and continued to go after this person and calling her, there was some foul language as well. It's just unnecessary. Keep your drama over on your channel. You say you're a nice person off of YouTube. I've heard that before. I don't understand how you're not a nice person on YouTube, or you're a different person. YouTube means you on the tube. Okay. Not, hey, I'm going to pretend to be somebody else if that's what's going on. I don't know. Either way, keep it over on your channel. Don't bring it over here. And do not come in and get rude with anybody in my chat. Like I said, they were not being rude to you. It was completely unnecessary. Hey, Hurricane's Eye, I see you down there. How's everybody doing tonight? After we got all that out of the way. Hope everybody's doing good today. Today is Wednesday, right? I have to try to remember what day it is. Whew. Okay. But tonight, what I was going to talk about. Hey, Carol, I see you down here. Yeah, Dusty. You're right. It's true. Hey, United for Survivors. I saw Carol. Hey, Dusty. Yeah, broke my heart that night. It was uncalled for. And then 5 minutes later, spreading hate and drama on another channel about us. It was uncalled for. It was. It really was. But I really felt that needed to be addressed. We try not to get caught up in the whole lot of stuff going on, but that it was like you brought that to our panel we had going and went after someone. And like I said, I don't care if you can't stand the person. Okay, deal with it. Y'all, do what you got to do, but don't come in and start coming after somebody in our chat. Um, and this particular person, I actually watch her channel. And I'll be honest, I didn't for a while because I, was taking other people's word or another person's word for things. And my sister's the one who said, "No, you know what? You should go check it out. Go watch it. It's not what you think. Go watch it." I said, "Okay." Well, this person's a pretty straight shooter. So far from what I've seen, she's honest, truthful. The truth hurts. That it's really bad. I mean, and like I said, I don't know all the situations that are going on out there in the YouTube world. I know a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I can't do anything about it. And I just say, hey, do not text someone anything. Don't call someone and run your mouth. Don't go saying things that you wouldn't say to somebody's face. Don't go saying things that you're like, no, I didn't say that. If you have to lie about it later on, you shouldn't say it to begin with. And there seems to be a whole lot of that going on that I've noticed too. Dusty, you said, and don't put up with the bullshit and love Garth. I love Garth. Oh yeah, she does love Garth too. But yeah, I talked to Garth Brooks on the phone. I told you that. Yeah, it was years ago, but that's all right. He's a pretty down to earth guy. He really is. Yeah, she's blatantly she's honest, and I have to have respect for somebody who can is a straight shooter. I love that about a person, and I can come off kind of brash because I'm like that, and people look at me like, "What are you doing? What?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did that like did that hurt too much? Maybe that's I've had to learn how to be a little bit more delicate with my stings, not sting at somebody so much. But tonight's topic, let's go on about that topic for tonight. Um, when our kids walk the same path that we walk, and I guess it's been what? I don't know, maybe 2 weeks. Um, and there's a lot on it's, my personal private life, and so I'll be kind of general about it. Um, one of my daughters, it's her boyfriend. There's a lot of history there. I called it like I saw it to begin with, and this situation caused a lot of friction between my other children, her, my husband, and myself. I was the oddball out because I lived with an alcoholic. I was married to an alcoholic, to an abuser, to a drug addict for 5 years. And I make it my point in life now to not be around people like that. If you're going to be abusive and controlling, I'm out, you know. Um, so I kind of, feel like, well, I saw the look in his eye, his switch one night he did to me, which that switch in his eye, I knew if my husband wasn't there, he probably would have come in and attacked me. I would have felt a blow from him, and I'm at the point in my life now, it's better, you better knock me out cold because I'm going to come up a swinging, you know. I don't have patience for it anymore. But like I said, there's a lot of history with this, particular person, and a lot of things that happened. And my daughter and him had moved out of state for a little while, and they finally moved back. And not even here a month. Right, well, right around a month, I guess. They had just got their own place, just finished taking her furniture over to the place they were at, and they were only in there a couple, yeah, what, 2 or 3 days, not very long. and there was an altercation, let's say. And, she's got a 2-month-old baby. There was, that was a huge issue. Now my son, who is 6'4", outweighs the boyfriend by at least 100 pounds. He's a big guy, whereas the boyfriend's not so big. And he just happened to be right up the street, and we were about an hour from him. So my husband calls and says, "Hey, can you go to your sister's? There's a problem, going on." So he was there like in 5 minutes, and it got so bad. Nobody wanted to call the police. Her friend was over there. There's all this stuff going on, and I'm trying not to yell at my husband. I was like, "Call the police! Call the police!" He laid a hand on her. She's holding the baby. What the heck? Call the police, right? Finally, my husband, called the police. Which I felt like we were back in 1950s after that whole thing, because they sent 2 officers. One wanted to press, do at least a citation or something, because they're like, "Yeah, you have a drinking problem. You don't be laying your hands on anyone." And the other female officer said, "No, we're not doing anything," and then turns around and hands my daughter domestic violence pamphlets. "Call these people, call these numbers if you need help." What? I thought 911 was the way to call. Okay. Now, it got worse even after the police left. At one point, he had my grandbaby in the condo, and basically was trying to hold him hostage, wouldn't let him go, this, that, and the other. And then they finally get the baby. They get him out to her friend's car. My daughter goes in, and I was already a hot mess and losing it. Okay, guys. Um, at this point, my husband is on the phone with my son, and he's like very calm. My son's very calm, and he's just like, "No, why can't she take that? It's hers. Why can't she leave? She's leaving. No, she's leaving." And you can hear his voice get deeper, and I could hear my daughter crying. Sorry, it's hard for me. But if you've ever been in a situation, in a DV situation like that, you know the kind of crying that I'm talking about. It was a completely crushed, just broken. There was no anger. There wasn't anything like that. It was just, she was just brokenhearted at that moment, just completely crushed. And I remembered how that felt. And you just don't ever hear your baby sounding like that. So, it took my big, huge son, um, getting her out, because he wouldn't even let her leave. And she finally got out. And of course, she was safe. But then, the guy's acting like he's going to go after my son. And my son was just like, "Go ahead." And then he threatened. He had his sports car with him because it was on the weekend, Friday night. And he always takes a sport. He's got a weekend car. He's 21. He's got a weekend car. Come on. Um, I think it's really cool. But, he had that. And he threatened to go and mess up his car. He goes, "I'm going to go F up your car." And basically, or my son, he says, "You do? You even go make a move?" Because I will flatten you right where you stand. And as crazy as the guy was, as drunk as he was, I guess he realized, looking up to my son, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't do that." Um, but that was just such a, I don't know. I've been doing a lot of thinking about it, a lot, and it just kind of like, and I know our children have to walk their own path in life. They have to make their own choices, their own decisions. They have to see things for themselves. They have to experience it and learn it. And, because I just asked myself, I've tried so hard to raise my kids to kind of be aware of some of those signs. I'm not gonna lie, I'd have to be a liar if I said I didn't question myself, going, where did I not teach them right? Where did I not tell them enough? That someone doesn't get to treat you that way. Somebody doesn't get to, isolate you, which happened, chase all your friends away. These are signs that you need to get out and you need to run as fast as you can. And I know I've tried. I have tried so hard, and I just think, well, maybe I didn't talk about it enough because I tried to get that in my past, and maybe I didn't make my children aware enough, Um, my older daughter, she was in a relationship for a while, and I didn't know everything about her relationship until well after they had split up. And she started kind of opening up and talking about it. And, you know, that whole thing of it's my relationship, we keep it between us kind of thing. And we don't tell our parents or your friends or whatever, it's a privacy issue. I think a lot of that could kind of get you in trouble too. And it's like, where do we draw the line? Where do we say, okay, yeah, this is between you and your partner, but then there's things that, again, when you, yeah, I don't know, but when she was telling me some of the stuff that had happened, I was starting to point out to her, I was like, oh my gosh, that's a huge red flag. I says, baby, if I had known any of this, I would have told you to run instead of, sitting there encouraging you guys to, you know, make it work, or, okay, well, what's going on? Well, I didn't know all the information. So if I had all the information, I definitely would have told her to take a run and run as fast as she could. But she now, she's like, Mom, I never saw those red flags until now. So now I think about it, oh my gosh, she sees it. Um, and her relationship wasn't as volatile as my other daughter's relationship was. And I don't know, I say was because I know she's fresh out of it, and I just really hope that she doesn't do like I did and play the yo-yo trick and buy into, you know, um, oh, I'm sorry, baby, I won't do it again. Oh, I know, I've got to get help and blah, 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 blah. And you go back. I don't know if anybody else did that, but I did that game. I did it a few times where I left and I went back because I wanted it to work. I didn't want my kids to have, you know, divorced parents. I didn't want this and that. Um, yeah, so I just hope that she doesn't fall in those same same games that I played and mind tricks that I played on myself. Um, but it's hey Indica, I see you down there. Yeah, Ink. I think a lot of people. I don't know. I think a lot of people have been through that kind of situation. Know how that is. It's just kind of. Carol, it's been down 4 years. Yeah, and see, yeah, and I'm grateful that it didn't get too much in the way of my daughter and I. Um, she's my baby. I love her. But, it did get to a point where, I mean, he actually came and lived with us when she was still in college, out of state. And he came here before she did, which I kind of thought was odd, but whatever. So, he lived with us. I saw a lot. You know how it is when you're have an alcoholic in the house. You can't get up and go to work 5 days a week. Can't, do this and that, and can't provide whatever. Um, you know, certain things. And I just, uh, you know, when I think about it all, and that's why I said he's not welcome in my home, and I had to draw those boundaries and dig my heels in. And my husband even asked, "Well, can't you give him a second chance?" Or, oh no, it wasn't even a second chance. Can't you give him a chance, sweetheart? I gave him a chance. when he lived with us before. Remember there was a bunch of stuff, guys. I'm not gonna go into detail, but you can imagine. I was like, I'm not doing it again. I lived with an alcoholic. I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it. And I've never said that my daughter and her son, my grandson, could not stay at our home, but he's not welcome there. And those are boundaries that I've had to set, and I think it's a pretty healthy boundary for me. I'm good with it. I'm okay with it. Um, Now, it would be a different story if perhaps he's like really going, you know what, I need to get help, and going and actively getting help, changing. But he's a lot older than her. He's got 10 years on her. So, um, which I think is odd because 31. My ex-husband was 31 and I was 18. Big, even more of an age difference there. But um, it just yeah, made me do a lot of thinking, and reflecting, and just going, okay, where did I mess up? And like I didn't ever want one of my children in a relationship like that. And this baby of mine is from my husband now, because I have my oldest two are previous, and then my husband and I have the rest of the other 10 are ours. Um, Ours together biologically. Let me rephrase that, because he's very much so the oldest two. If you ask who their daddy is, they're going to tell you it's my husband. um, so she wasn't around any of that behavior from my ex-husband. She wasn't even thought of yet. Um, so I just asked myself, like, Holly Day, I was really hoping that you would have learned from, why couldn't I have carried that lesson for all of you guys? You know, and it's just so hard, because it's like, but again, maybe I didn't talk about it enough. Maybe I didn't put enough red flags out. Hey, look for this, look for this. And then we can say that, but I mean, you don't even know until you're in the situation and it's too late, and you're blinded by that point. You don't see those red flags, right? I mean, until you look back on it. And I do have to remind myself that, like I said, all of our children have to walk their own path in life. We can't walk it for them. So, um, yeah, yeah, ink, you've been in it too. Yeah, yeah, I learned after that. No more, no more, no more. And I really pray that she doesn't do that yo-yo game, is what I call it. Oh, thank you, CJ. Double genetics is what they are. Oh, Carol, I'm sorry. Yeah, ink. So I think is hope everyone, my kiddos, because I raised my kids to be feisty. My girls, I correct them when they're being too sassy. Okay, I do. I'll correct them, but I always wanted them to hold on to some of that sass. I always want, and I say my girls because I'm a girl. Okay, now, but boys, they're headstrong, they're considerate, they're kind, they're patient, they're good kids. My girls, and I know y'all don't jump on me saying I'm being sexist or anything. But with my girls, I really do feel like um, it's so easy for a man to overpower them, to control them, to manipulate them, right? And I know y'all don't jump on me for this, but if I raise my daughters to be quiet and meek and to put up with anything that comes their way, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to them. Now I teach my boys the same thing, stand up for yourself, be kind, considerate, you can say what you got to say and be respectful about it. And I do that with my daughters, but I've actually told them, I said, you do realize how much sass I put up with you, right? They're like, yeah. And it's just because I want you to grow up thinking, knowing that your opinion matters, your thoughts count, that you have the right to be heard, and no one should try to shut you up, shut you down, put you under their thumb. No manipulation, no controlling, anything like that. I've always wanted my kids to be headstrong and to not be in that kind of situation. And I've only got one more little girl. All the rest of them are boys, and those boys are just fine. And my youngest girl, ooh, she's fine too. She's full of sass. So I can't imagine. Sure, whoever she gets with is gonna have to be careful of her. She's feisty. All right. So I don't know. Do you guys have any? I'm gonna put the link down in chat. Dusty, you coming up? Are you gonna leave? You're gonna abandon me down here, aren't you? What do you guys do with your kids? Do you like? I don't know. Like I said, I've still got some younger ones coming up, and my kids, just an FYI, my kids range from 29 down to 5. When the twins are 5, they're getting ready to turn 6 here in just a couple weeks. And we've got the older 6 and the younger 6, and so I still, debating on making sure, trying to make sure I get it right this time around. Trying to make sure that I don't mess up with the younger one there. Hey, girl.
You called?
I called.
Well, I mean, you totally doxed me too, but.
Oh,
I mean, it's all right.
Okay, you're down there under Dusty Divine with the same
That's
picture as Wild Child, and I doxed you. Oh, okay, I'm so sorry.
So
I'll delete this part. I'll delete that part of the video.
No, you're good. I don't need you to get a strike because you doxed me. I doxed myself with 2 different names.
Yeah, Dusty. Ink says, yes, it was scary because he convinced everyone it was my fault, and of course everyone ran with that. Yeah, that is something that they do, is they try to convince, everyone that it's you. What? I mean, my ex would sit there and say how crazy I was and this, that, and the other, and I'm like, well, you hadn't seen crazy yet, but that I was a druggie, which was furthest from the truth. I was like, are you serious? You're the one sitting there drinking and doing drugs, not me. Like, oh my gosh, deflecting a reflection of themselves, I suppose, and even my daughter's ex-boyfriend, he kind of tried that with me at one point, coming at me talking about how, she has such anger issues and she gets so angry and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, really? Like, I don't know my daughter? Oh, she's going to fuss back at you because you're doing what you're doing. But, I'm going to sit here and convince me that she's not the one who can't get up and go to work and do what she's supposed to do because of a problem,
Yeah. The way I look at it is when we're raising kids, I know you said that you have a lot of them. I also got a lot of them. I've got 6. And the way I look at it is they're monkey see, monkey do. And you don't want your children to follow in your footsteps for what you've been through with your abuse. So you try to, one, coddle them, you hide them from that type of abuse, but you also educate them, when they see that type of abuse. Whenever we talked when all that was going on, Shining, I remember those words I said to you because I knew you was ready just to rip her out of it. And I'm like, honey, you've got to let her walk this journey. This is her journey. She's smart. All you can do is just be there to pick up the pieces. And that is exactly what you did when the shit hit the fan. You were there to pick up the pieces. And what happened? Your daughter came home, apologized to mom. You was right. And it's a journey. It's a lesson that she had to learn to put under her belt so that she don't ever face that again, so that you know that she's going to be safe and that your grandbaby is going to be safe for the next guy that might come around, and she will have the signs um, to know if this is going to be a drunk. She knows to get out of it real quick, that she's not going to deal with that. She got scared, everything that had happened, she don't want to go through it again. And
Yeah.
these are journeys like we as look, I'm 15. I cannot stand calling myself an older woman, but because I still think I'm 20. But us where we've lived, and we've gone through it, we don't want our children to go through it. But sometimes we have to let we can educate our children, but if we overpower our children and say, no, don't do this, don't do that, what are they going to do? They're going to go do it anyway because you said no.
Yeah.
So all we can do is give them all the tools, educate them, and be there for them while they're walking their journey out on their own, and be there for them when it's time to pick them up, and make sure that there's a big support system um, for them whenever they have to heal.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's just a little different when you got a baby involved too.
Yeah. Because that baby could grow up if he, stayed in that situation for 5, 6, 10, 15 years down the line, sees his daddy, as a drunk. Sure, there'd be physical abuse, you know, against the mother. One, he may never grow up respecting women. Two, he may grow up a drunk himself. You
Yeah.
know, we don't want that for our children or our grandchildren, because it's monkey see, monkey do. And we get that none of us parents are perfect. We know that. We all make mistakes,
Oh yeah.
but there's boundaries, with those mistakes. Okay, we made a mistake. So we have to clean that mistake up, and we have to better ourselves and be better, because it's not about us no more. It's about what's below us, which are our children. They're watching every move that we make, they're learning from us. So it's for us to make them stronger and make them more aware.
Yeah. I know we can't have control over them. I know.
Yeah. I'm here for support, so you can go ahead and talk.
I- no, I'm just like, just kind of thinking, how do I educate my younger ones? so far, so far, everyone else is pretty good. I mean, but it's almost like, because my one daughter, my other one, between this one and the oldest one, um, she was in a relationship when she was in high school, and I could see it in that guy too. And I told my husband, I said, um, you need to watch this guy. He said, I saw the look in his eye too. And my daughter didn't tell us till years later, of course, that he did hit her one time.
Hmm.
Because why? She wouldn't have sex with him.
Wow.
And I said, oh my gosh, um, just you better be glad she didn't say anything, because probably wouldn't have ended well. But
Probably would have ended Lorena Bobbitt style.
mhm. But she got away. I mean, she was young, and she got away from him real quick. She's like, oh no, I know that's not right. No man's gonna lay their hands on me.
Exactly.
So I was like, good, smart girl,
Hmm.
and my girls are smart. So, you know, it's just this one. It's like, oh, because there, you know, I think it's always a little more challenging too when there is a child involved. You know, when you have a child together, I think sometimes you try even harder to, you want it to work out. You really do,
Yes.
you know, and it's hard to see how dangerous that is and how it's just kind of like, you know, you just want to go, baby, it's not going to work out. You know, this guy's older. You know, is he really going to change? Come on, you know. Um, you know, for me, when you get the baby involved, it's a huge problem. That would, you know,
Yeah.
that's a dead in the water for me. You know, like
Exactly.
there's no more discussion on this. No more, you know, you're out. You know, and I think that is something that, you know, people who are in that kind of situation do need to really consider is your child's safety. Um, you know, all it takes is, you know, especially a little one. You know, we're supposed to protect them, not subject them to dangers. You know, all it takes is 1 second, just a split second, that, you know, somebody's off the rocker because they've been drinking and they're wasted, and you can't get to your, you know, you can't get to your baby fast enough. You know,
Yep.
and it can be horrendous. The consequences can be devastating. You know, and it's like you don't want to put the fear of God in them, but yes, I actually do want to. Like, you understand that grandbaby comes first. You know,
Yes.
and how do you push that into them? Like, really get that to sink in, to, and not like play it off like, well, it really wasn't that bad. You know, because I think that's the thing that we play, a game we play with ourselves too, is, well, it really wasn't that bad. I didn't end up with a broken bone or bruises. Um, yeah, and then, you know, but it escalates. It
Yes.
escalates every time. It gets worse. It gets worse. Eventually, those bruises will come.
Broken bones as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know, and in the midst of the fury, you can end up with a child that you may end up burying or may end up with head trauma, broken bones. I know a couple of people, you know, where their kids have had broken bones. And of course, they got away from it. Um, but their grandbabies have had broken bones from an abuser, you know, abusing their daughter. And it's sad. You know, when you're sort of talking about it, I was remembering a couple of years ago, this dad down here in Florida, uh, he was a drunk. Oh, there's two occasions. Florida's a mess. I'm telling you, Florida's a mess. But right by my house on the freeway was 275. A couple of years ago, the mother and the father were having a dispute. The baby was 2 months old. They were fighting. They were drunk, high, whatever was going on. They were fighting in the car. And the dad took the baby and threw the baby out the window on the interstate, 70 miles an hour, just right down by my house. And when I lived in Tampa, every year I'd go down in May and put a teddy bear and some flowers where that baby lost his life on the interstate. Um, that was an innocent baby that couldn't stand up for himself. And
Yeah.
the other one that really bugged me too was this father. The little girl, I believe, was 5 or 6 years old, and the father was a substance abuser, and he went to the Skyway Bridge and threw his daughter off the bridge.
Mm-mm.
Her name was I want to I say Phoebe, but everybody says it's Phoebe or Phoebe,
Yeah.
like that.
Phoebe. Yeah.
That was the little girl's name, just precious as she could be. And this father, just because he was a substance abuser and fighting with the mother,
And
throws up.
see, if you were to ask those mothers, they'd probably say, I never thought he would do that.
That's
because,
exactly what the mother said. My heart
yeah,
broke for the mother, and
yeah, 'cause, I think we play that game with ourselves too. Oh, they would never do that.
yeah,
Oh, okay, but you never thought he'd put his hands on you either. Yeah,
exactly.
and it just kind of, like, I don't know. I say education. We always want better for our I do, anyways. I want better for my children than what I have done. And I tell my kids that I want more for you. I push you in school. I want you to do the best that you can because I know you're smart. You can do this, this, and this. I want you to have the world at your fingertips. I don't want you to struggle. I don't want you to live paycheck to paycheck. I want you to be financially secure, to be smart with your money, to be smart in your life, your dailies. And I say this because it is very important. And I'm going to say it again. And I know people are going to jump on me and say, you're being sexist. Okay. Listen, it is very important for our daughters to get an education, to go to school, get up every day, go to school, do what you got to do, get your education. And I'm not saying you have to go to college. There's trade schools, there's all kinds of things that you can do. But you have something for yourself. Be productive. Be able to make a living and provide for yourself. Be able to pay bills if you don't have to depend on somebody else. And my mom always said this too, is, where she worked at the courthouse, but she always said that the women who came in who had gone through domestic violence situations, who, divorce and all this, she said the ones who worked and really had things going for themselves did so much better mentally, emotionally, than the women who were uneducated, who didn't have anything going for themselves.
Yes.
And, I know people are going to say that sounds sexist. Hey, how many times? Oh, you're a stay-at-home mom, which is nothing wrong with that. Okay. I'm not saying that there is, but that's just, the old school thinking is the man goes to work and provides and the wife stays home. Well, nowadays we have it where, hey, if you could have either of you stay home, whoever can go and make good money, go make good money. But point is, our girls need to be educated just like our boys do. It's not, it's a thing about self survival, not anything to do with you're a boy or you're a girl. They both need to be, men and women both need to be educated and, be able to have a good career, whatever you choose to do. And I just think it is really important for the girls to get educated and to graduate high school. To, if they want to go to college, go to college. If you want to go cosmetology, do that. I mean, that's, you can make some good money doing cosmetology, there's trade schools of all kinds for, my niece is a welder. She went to a trade school for welding. My niece can provide for her whole family if she needs to, she's not going to be in a situation where she has to depend on anyone else. And in this kind of situation, we just say the abuser, because I know when I was in that situation, I was right out of high school, had my babies, and I didn't have a job. I didn't have any kind of, I had nursing school and I still had my last year to complete. So he made sure that I didn't do that because that was not going to happen. Right. But if I had had that, how would it have been different for me? Maybe, I don't know. Just being dependent on somebody else or whatever. But I just do think it is very important for all of our children to be educated. And then, with that education is like, how can I educate my children to be on the watch for people like this, manipulators, narcissists, because that's what they are, Would you agree, Dusty?
Yes. I guess I do. I was just
I know.
I'm sorry.
No, you were what?
I was looking up the name of who I spoke about, the two incidences, so be up there for receipts. So I was just
Okay.
getting the names if they want to go look. And
I swear I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, I got the other name right
Thought
here.
I remember hearing about that. Ink, you see Ink's comment?
I haven't looked. I was looking up.
She said, I made horrible decisions and never meant for it to be prolonged for years after. I pay today and will tomorrow for every single day, so it's a blessing or a lesson. My lesson forever. Yeah. But you know what? Without, yeah, so, some of us have tougher lessons to learn in life, I guess, But you walked away very well educated on it. I bet. you know, um, and for me, it's just a really good reminder to never go back to that place.
Yes. All right. Now you got my undivided attention. I agree with Ink as well. We all sometimes we're given Sophie choices, and those Sophie choices are not the best choices that we're given. But you have to make that choice. It's a bad choice and it's a worse choice, and you have to pick which better or the worse or the bad choice you're going to make. And I blamed myself for many years. Some of the situations that I was in, um, choices that I had to make for my kids, protecting. I was at the time thinking I was protecting my children with some of the choices that I'd have to make with that Sophie's choice. And so I was angry for many years. And then I turned around and looked at it as lessons, just like Ink. Every day I blame myself, for things that my older set of children were subject to, what they have been through, what they have seen. Luckily, my younger children, they didn't have that type of lifestyle because they didn't have a monster for a father. And luckily, I'm not trying to make it about me, I'm sorry.
No, no,
But
no, no, no. You're good.
luckily, when I brought my boys home that were kidnapped in 2003, luckily, my younger children's father, took these two under his wing and raised them very well. You know, he raised them with the utmost respect, until, of course, some things happened in the home, and he ended up raising just one of them. And I've got another story with one of the other children. But I mean, he's my oldest son. He's the one that's the center of um, why I have my first charge of aggravated felony child abuse in 1993. Um, and my second ex husband, my younger children's dad, ended up raising my oldest son. And I mean, he's such a good child. I mean, he's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, instilled good. He was instilled with goodness, and he never turned to be a drunk, like his father. He's a good family man. He's just a good kid. He turned out really good, and I'm blessed. Even though I beat myself up, I'm blessed because this is a lesson that my children all had to learn in a way. But I'm extremely blessed that they were given a good man to raise them, and have them come out to be good kids.
Yeah.
Talking. Um, my brain ain't with it tonight.
What's me raining with it? What you talking about?
I don't know where my brain is at. Just boom, boom, boom. Jumping all over the place.
Yeah, I know. It is interesting. I think when you get triggered, for me,
Yeah.
like this whole situation really. I mean, it really got me,
Oh,
and been really like not trying to let it consume my mind, but I think about it a lot. Like driving down here for work, 3-hour car ride, very dangerous situation to have me in because I do a lot of thinking because I'm by myself, got the tunes going. Can't be on the phone because these backcountry roads that I take to get down here. You can't hold a phone conversation. So it's
right.
just me and just me and my thoughts, and on the way down I'm thinking about it. I start crying. I'm like, oh, and it's just you just kind of I don't want to say relive it, but it just really, when I say it shook me because it's like,
Yeah.
when I heard her, I thought, oh my gosh, I know the point she's at right now, and it's just not anything that you want. I don't want for my children,
Of course not.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, oh no, thought we were going to dodge this one, but
Yeah.
you know,
Luckily, she's got you there to lift her up and support her, help guide her. She's going to listen to Mama a little bit more now. Like, okay, Mom was right on this. Brownie points for
mm,
you. But listen, don't beat yourself up. Stop beating yourself up. That's what you're doing. Stop. She's okay. She's all
yeah,
right. And it's a journey, it's a lesson. She's learned a lesson. She's learned a lesson.
yeah.
But
Yeah, she tends to listen to Daddy more than she does Mama.
of course.
She's Daddy's girl.
But you got
She's Mama's girl too, but yeah,
right now. I think
it's
she's more of a mama's girl. I think she's more of a mama's girl right now.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Daddy's all up in her business too. Dad's really supportive, and he's an excellent father. Okay,
hmm
but I always well, when I'm mad at him, it comes out in a mad way. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, but I tell him you're a Disneyland dad. And he laughs. Like when we were arguing and I called him that, he got really like whatever, and he just laughed like ha ha ha. But I think no, you're the Disneyland dad. And he grew up he had some issues growing up as well. And he didn't have much growing up, so he wants to make sure that he provides really well for the kids, that no, they don't have to have everything, but all their needs are met, and that they're not struggling for things, stuff like that. But he's very supportive with the kids, whereas I'm the mom who says this is right, this is wrong.
hmm
Dad sees nothing but gray. He's like, well, it's so he's kind of like, he'll pull me down when I'm getting too hot around the collar. He'll be like, hey, hold on, let's look at it like this. There's times I do that to him too, but most of the time he's doing that for me, whereas I'm like, no, they shouldn't be doing this, da 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 da. And he's like, come on, they're kids. I don't want to say more reasonable, or I look at things logically, in black and white. Like I said, he sees gray. He's the.
I think it's in all households though, Shining, because
Mm,
whenever I was raising my kids too. I was the military mom. I was the strict mom. I was the bad mom. Oh, mom, don't let me do this. Mom, don't let me do that. And what would they do? They'll go to daddy. And daddy this, daddy that, daddy this. And of
no.
course, daddy would give. And me and him, we would bang heads like, yo, wait. Do you know what he
Yeah.
did today? Do you know what she did today? Are you okay? Well, it's okay. No, it's not okay. So the kids have a tendency, I think a lot, we have a tendency to be harder on the kids because we expect more of them. Why daddy is just the, how do you say it? More relaxed, more laid back, like, just let them do what they want to do type of deal. And
Yeah.
I think we're the mothers that have to keep the kids in line. And that's why they get all the brownie points and the ice cream points with daddy, and we only get the cookie points. But I think when they get older, like I'm still a daddy's girl. I'm 50 years old, and look, I'm still a daddy's girl. Um, and I've got that spot. I've got three other brothers, but I take the spot of being daddy's girl, being spoiled and everything else like that because that's my daddy.
Yeah.
But I love my mama just the same. And it took me a long time to understand where my mom was coming from because she was hard on me, and daddy was, he wasn't as hard on me. I got away with a lot of stuff. But when I came to mom, I didn't get away with shit. When I got in trouble, I got in trouble. And like I said, when you heard my name, all vowels and everything out and making up a name behind it, I knew I was in trouble and I was running.
Right.
Now that I've grown up and I've learned lessons and I understand, I look at my mom as an inspiration, like, wow, like I understand now. I get it. It took me this long and maybe I had some anger towards you, but we're dropping that because I see what you was doing. You was protecting me, but you couldn't jump in on this journey. You had to let me go through this journey, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
And
that's
I think that's where the dads are, because my husband will discipline too, you know, um, but he's emotional.
yeah.
He'd be like, you'll never do anything till you graduate high school. You're grounded, and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I said 2 weeks. you know, but he's more lenient, like with, I say they're on restriction, he'd be like, well, it's been a couple days. They're sorry. It's okay. No, no, no. I said they're on restriction, like he's more the one that'll let him off restriction early or whatever, but it is funny like that because he is more, well, you have to let him make the mistakes,
Hmm.
you know and yeah, I know you have to let him make mistakes, but I am that mom that, no, 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 I see what's coming. I know what's
Yeah.
gonna happen, don't do it. It's like, frustrating, but I've learned over the years. Like I said, my oldest is 29. I have learned where, step back and let your kids do what they have to do. Let them live their life.
Yeah.
Now, I still have to be a parent, so it's kind of a hard line there.
Exactly.
But they have taught me. My older kids have taught me it's okay to loosen up and let them, either make mistakes, because if they fall on their face, they're gonna have to just jump up and keep going.
Yeah.
But a lot of times that they surprise me and, wow, okay, like, cool. So my older kids have taught me that it's okay to let them go, and if you don't have your schoolwork done, that's on you. I don't need to sit here and get on you and do all this. If you want to, hey, if you want to flunk your test because you didn't study, that's your problem.
Yeah.
And I used to be horrible about that, because it's like, no, 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 no. I know what you're capable of. You're gonna do it. Um, but like I said, my husband is more, it's okay, and he's very understanding. He's very forgiving. Whereas, like I said, me, I'm like, what did I tell you? Are you, like, are you supposed to pick up rocks and throw them? You know what's going to happen. You've been told before, and
Right.
he'll get on them, and he'll get mad at them and everything. But, we will have to, hey, they're just kids, and
Yeah.
I do have to remind myself that too. But it's still at that point of,
Yeah.
where do we educate our kids on this? How much do we educate them on? You don't want to beat a dead horse, you know. And also with it is, there are things that my kids don't know that happened in my
Exactly.
marriage with my ex-husband, And am I making a mistake by not telling them everything?
I think age appropriate, no. Because my younger ones, I've actually, talked with them about it. Some of the things that mom's been through, how the brothers, how actually I went and saved the brothers from Mexico from being kidnapped. Um, I've always kept that open line of communication. So really age appropriate, and, just sitting there listening to you, I was remembering something that my boys said, because I was always hard on them. And then I ended up being mom and dad to them. So they didn't have the dad around since 2012. Dad, would come up by once every 6 months and say, hey, whatever. And now it's like I've still got a minor in the home, and I think it's once a year now that he will stop by and see the kid for a couple, and that's about it. So
uh,
my boys, they were just at that age, my teddy bear and my his older sibling, because I got three from my first and three from my last. So my three younger ones and my two boys, they would get mad at me like, Mom, why don't you spank us? Why don't you ever spank us? Don't you know that when you spank us, we would be better in line? I'm like, are you serious? Because I grew up under a spanking. I got my
You're
tail tore in half, spanking switches, belts, you name it. I mean, it wasn't child abuse, but I got my hide reddened.
mm,
My name, wild child. I was a wild one. And
right.
and my boys, they're like, "Mom, why don't you hit us?" Because I take things away. I would take games away. I would take cell phones away. I would take playtime away. Or I would make them do chores or write out of a Bible. But if I laid a hand on them, that was a time that I was very angry. Like, ooh, okay, you overstepped a big boundary. And I think they got one spanking each. Brian on my older one, well, the oldest of the three from my second, um, he actually got a couple of more. They weren't really spankings. They were more of having to hold him because, of his condition and stuff like that. But they came up to me and they're like, "Mom, why didn't you take a belt to us? You should have taken a belt to us. Would be better kids." And I, I look at my boys and I'm like, it's not about, spanking you. You can be better, without not even the spankings. And, they're like, yeah, but grandpa. I'm like, no, it wasn't grandpa, it was grandma. Like, grandma tore that tail up. Um, he says, but that's how my kids would talk to me. And my other first ex tried to reach out to the other two that were not his, and I put a stop to it because they know what had happened. Throughout the years, whenever I talk to them about the abuse, because I advocate for domestic violence, I advocate for sibling abuse, I advocate for a lot. So back in 2019, my older set of children's father reached out to my younger set of children, which were still minors at the time. One was 18, but the other one was still a minor. And I got on to him. I'm like, who the hell do you think you are? Like, no, these are not your kids. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you. You have no reason to talk to them. If the other kids want to talk to you, that is fine. They are your children. But you have no reason to be getting in contact with the younger ones because they are nothing to you. If I wanted to get in contact with you, I would gladly get in contact with you. I have nothing to say to you. Nothing. So do not contact the younger set of children. And no, I did what I usually do to get rid of them. But yeah,
As long as you got rid of them, it's okay.
I got rid of them. Still got the shovel too, but I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Shoot. Got the rest of the duct tape, or did you use it all?
I think I just used the rest. Well, just one roll of duct tape.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, okay. We won't ask any questions about that.
Yeah,
Moving on.
Good enough. I scared my people. It was about the time I had got exposed to black mold, and I ended up with microorganisms living in my lungs because the black mold had settled in my lungs. So I ended up having to go to an oncologist because they were running me for cancer, and they were doing all kinds of tests before they found the microorganisms in my lungs. And me and the ladies were talking up there one day, and I just happened to be looking out, and I was looking at my truck, and we were talking. I don't know what we were talking about, and I was like, "Yeah, I still got the shovel in the back of my vehicle." The look on her face, it said it all. I'm like, yeah. Here in Tampa, you can't hide a body. I mean, you just literally can't. You guys are shoulder on shoulder here. Where the hell am I going to hide a body at?
Right.
I was in the Gulf of Mexico and let a shark eat it. But I'm like, yeah, the shovel's in the back. Ain't got no fingerprints on it. I already wiped it down. So,
God, Dusty.
I'm horrible.
Seems like, oh no.
I'm horrible, but yeah, I mean, That's just me. I like to play around like that.
You sure it's just playing? No, I'm just kidding.
You never know with me.
Yeah.
You never.
Yeah.
It depends on what mood I'm in.
It's all right. I know a guy. It's okay. I know a guy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I might call him
Yeah.
up one day.
Well, I do have to say, I did have a really aha moment when, for me, it was like, yes, um, it put a smile on my face just knowing that my daughter and my husband and her, our two younger sons, who are both bigger than the boyfriend. All three of them are bigger than the boyfriend. The next morning when, she's like, Dad, I need to get my stuff, and had to go, and, landlord was there, and of course he was there, the boyfriend. And it did put a smile on my face going, welcome to Texas, big boy. You're on her turf now.
Mhm.
You want to lay a hand on her? You want to act a fool? Oh, okay. Well, here you go. Daddy and her two little baby brothers, quote unquote, are coming to get it.
You
you
didn't
know,
say I
and
figure
yeah, I mean, if you could see, I mean, my boys aren't small, now there's my husband, like, it just, it did lighten my spirit a little bit, just going, man, what I wouldn't have given for that moment with my ex, going, yeah, here's my daddy and here's my brothers, to come to get my stuff. What are you going to do? Like, you don't stand a chance, it just
right.
kind of,
Dare you
it
not?
did. Yeah, it did bring a little smile on my face going, yeah, she's got backup here,
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
You wish you could get on video camera to see his face whenever the backup got there, the posse.
yeah, that would be like, oh gosh,
In
but
that moment.
no, well, it was just one of those. Yeah, welcome home. Like, and there's more backup where this came from, so it's okay.
Right.
It's like, well,
Don't forget about them cousins, those aunts, and those uncles. And
yeah,
friends.
yeah. You don't want to. And that's the one thing is our kids are really close. All of our kids are really close. So that's I love that because I've always wanted my kids to be close. And now that they're adults, they still
Are close.
are very close.
That's good.
And it's like, yeah, welcome home. She's got backup. It's okay. You
Mm.
know. Um, yeah. Try it now. Try it now. Like my mom would say, try your crap now, buddy. See how well it does. See how well it works for you.
I'm not gonna get too far now. Guess
hmm
what? My girl is home, and my
Yeah,
grandbaby is safe. Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. I got Pink Stone down there too. Indica Sunshine. I didn't say hi to her. I don't think.
No,
Hello, ladies.
Pinch Poke, you owe me a Coke. Coca Cola.
Wait, I thought you wanted Pepsi.
Well, Pepsi's fine, or Coke. It don't matter. Coca Cola.
Coca-Cola. Dr. Pepper.
Better get that cola back there because we're up on YouTube streets and people misconstrue words. And all I need is be out there. Dusty said Coke. She does Coke. I do see it now. Let's
Yeah.
do a flip.
hmm Yeah, like Ink said, because in the heat of the moment, things happen. You can't take back what happens in the heat of a bad moment. Know better, do better. Yep, and yep, you're right. Even dealing with their kids, I mean, y'all know raising kids is not easy. Woo-wee.
No.
It's not. And we've got 12, and I have my what I call my quote unquote original 6-pack, the ones that we gave birth to. I did. I'm sorry. I did. I gave birth to them.
You put me on that equation because I got 6 too, but
Yeah. And then we have the 6 we adopted. And, adoption is not easy, y'all. Oh my goodness. It's not. There are definitely challenging moments from the beginning because we did foster care, and we did foster care for 6 years. We had over 90 kids that came through our house, and so many different challenges, and we decided to stop doing foster care, even though 2 of my kids that we adopted asked, "Mom, why did you quit fostering?" I just looked at them. I said, "I think 12 kids is enough. I need a break, but we needed my kids needed even though they knew they were adopted and they were home. This is mom and dad. This is your house. By having other foster children still coming into the home, that chaos was still there for them. It was just a constant reminder for them, and I felt like they couldn't get settled in, right? You know what I mean? Because you always have, when you do foster care, you've got CPS constantly coming over, you've got transporters coming over, you've got counselors coming over, you got therapists coming over for all kinds of stuff, and then attorneys coming over. I mean, CASA workers. I mean, it's an open door constantly, and it's fine. And I wouldn't trade anything for it. It was loved doing it, but I really felt it was just kind of like, for me, I'm religious, so I said God was telling me, listen, you need to take care of your kids that you have now. I've allowed these children to come into your life, and for you to be their parent, and I just felt that it was time to stop and focus on them and let them have their family, without all that continually, because I think it also just kind of kept bringing it up for them as well, just a constant reminder.
Yeah. It could probably be the back of their head. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay.
The back of their head, watching the turnaround, because it was so high, that even though they're so young, they don't understand the word adoption and that you're their forever mommy, and Mr. Shining is their forever daddy. So while they're seeing that big turnaround, I'm sure in the back of their mind, they're like, are we going to be next? Are we going to be next? So I really think you made like an awesome choice, because of the younger set up to your older set. They're at that age where they know they're not going nowhere. They're safe. Your mommy, he's daddy, and they have the world at their fingertips because of you and because of daddy. You've given them everything, and they don't ever have to worry about going anywhere because you're their mom and daddy. They're adopted. Nobody can take it from you.
Thanks for the reminder, Dusty. Thanks for the reminder.
You was up until you're 18. You did it. I
didn't. Yeah, because it definitely it has its challenges, But they, when I think about it, they've come a long way. They really have. Like, and they came from DV situations, and that's, again, that's another rabbit hole to go down. Bunch of rabbit holes there, but I see their progress, and the other thing about making boundaries of what you will have for me in my home, what I'm willing to have into my home is not just for me, but it's for my children as well.
Amen.
My children don't need to see that kind of behavior and think that that's okay. Yep. They don't need to know that somebody did something harmful and that it's okay. We just can't. What kind of message are we sending to them? Mm-hmm. My kids are used to, daddy gets up and goes to work every day religiously. He gets up and goes to work. Mama gets up and goes to work, does what I have to do. Mm-hmm. Again, like you said, nobody's perfect. None of us are perfect. I get that, but all we can do is do our best and put our best foot forward all the time, or try to. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to trip and fall, because Lord knows I've done some somersaults, y'all. But we try to keep our house as clean as we can. Well, we keep it, it's picked up and clean. We do the laundry all the time. That doesn't mean that you won't walk in my house and see. Mind you, we have 12 kids. Okay, so if everybody's home, or even just some of them are home, you're going to see cups sitting around. Because people are drinking, they got their tea, they got their water, their milk, their juice, whatever it is they're drinking. My kids go in the kitchen and they cook something, and there's going to be dishes in the sink. There's going to be clean dishes in the dishwasher that have to get unloaded. There's going to be laundry in the washer and probably a load in the dryer as well, you know. But, you know, we try to keep it, you know, we keep the house picked up, we keep it clean, and, you know, it's between the kids and the dogs, you know, there's always, you know, stuff going on, and there's lots of activity at the house, and, you know, the kids are always going and doing something, doing whatever, but, you know, they've come a long way from where they were. I have to take those moments, and, you know, especially when things get so, you know, you get so caught up in life and in how things are at the moment in the present, right? You know, like this very moment, this, you know, this kid got you know, a couple weeks back, in 1 week, I got a call because one of the kids, and it's 3 boys, my 3 middle boys there, one of them was doing something wrong in school. 2 days later, I get another call. The other boy was being rude and disrespectful to his teacher. I said, oh my gosh, you know, like, what in the world, you know? Then, next day, boy number 3, I get a phone call from him and his teacher.
Oh.
But that phone call was the one that was really entertaining because it just solidified why the other 2 were acting up, you know? Because that was when little man, he's 9 years old, they were talking about alcohol, and he stood up and told the class that he drinks alcohol at home every day, blah, 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 blah. You know, like, what? What alcohol? You mean water? Milk? What are you talking about? So, apparently, I mean, you know, obviously, the other 2 were cutting up in school because they have an alcoholic 9-year-old brother. I mean, you know, come on. It was just, you know, like that moment there, you're so frustrated, and you're like, I'm just going to wring your necks. Oh my gosh, I can't believe, you know, you're doing this, and oh no, you know. And then you know, I get so frustrated with it. And then I have to stop and go, okay, hold on a second. I need to have time to reflect and go, you know, they've come a long way. I have to remind myself of that. Like where they were when they first got here and after the things they had been through. And, you know, of course, the 9-year-old being an alcoholic, which, you know, we hardly ever even drink, you know. I'm like, what? You know, his situation was really, really bad. So I can see how he's an alcoholic by 9, you know, really. I mean, good golly, you know, he's just trying to cover the pain. I don't know. But, you know, he's also the one who's autism, you know, and he says things because he's trying to get a laugh, or he's just thinking, hey, this would be cool to say, you know, and he understands now how wrong that was, and he shouldn't have said that, but, you know, he feels bad about it now. When I first asked him, he just looked at me and laughed, and he smiled like, yeah, you know, haha. And I'm like, it's not anything to joke about, dude. Like, good golly, you want us to be on the other side of CPS? I mean, you know, but yeah, and I was like, oh no, but it just, the kids, and, you know, and I'm sure they were sensing, you know, because I do believe that kids are very sensitive and pick up what you're feeling even if you don't say anything. Yeah. Especially my 9-year-old. He's the one who, he's very different. Okay.
Good.
And he's, you know, he can be the one that can drive you up the wall. But he really has a heart of gold. You know, when my husband's uncle died, he was more like a dad to us, and it was really, really hard. And when he had passed away, we were at the memorial, and I was standing next to my husband, and all the kids were sitting down next to different people. You know how kids are. They're like, oh, so-and-so's here. Let me go sit next to him. And I started crying, of course. And, you know, my 9-year-old was a couple years back. He had come, and he had just held onto my leg, and he was just standing there holding on to me. And I just looked down at him, and he just kept staring up at me. And I hugged him back, and, you know, everything was, you know, it was over, and kids were starting to take off running, and he still stayed there, just clutching onto my leg. And I was like, you can go ahead and go. You can go play if you want. And he's like, looking at me like, are you sure? And, you know, you can go play. And later on, I had asked him, I says, hey, you know, when we were at the service, he said, you were hugging my leg. What were you doing that for? And he looked at me and he says, because you were crying, Mom.
Mm.
You were upset. And that's just, if you could have seen him, like that's just where his heart's at. And I'm telling you, this kid will drive you crazy, but he has this heart of gold that
Exactly.
just, oh, I mean, he got me with that one. I was like, oh man, but he is like that. Like, and I don't know if it's because he was hurt so bad, even though he was little. He was just a baby, but it's like he didn't want anybody else to hurt. He didn't want anybody else to be upset.
Yeah.
But
And
it
you
just,
show him love, that caring. You show him a caring hand. So he said that back to you whenever you had tears.
Yeah. Oh, Lenny's in the house. Hey, Carol's back. Lenny,
Oh.
do you see this down here? Ink's holla. He's holla back, girl. Okay, she said don't ask. Look, she said she was feeding her wild field mouse rescue.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you about this friend of mine I work with. She has this friend. It wasn't her. It was her friend. It really was her friend, who saves all kinds of animals. Well, there was a skunk that had been killed on the road. And I don't remember all the details of how she found or whatever, but this skunk was a mama and there was babies. So she goes and gets the babies and takes them to her house. Not only did she take the babies in to save these little baby skunks, she had to go up and she had to go a couple hours away and go stay with her mom. And her mom's elderly.
Mm-hmm.
And like she's in her 80s. Okay. And her mom lives in an apartment.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
she took the skunks with her. I said, oh my God. And did not tell anybody. Didn't even tell her mom that she had skunks she was bringing into the house. Oh my gosh. I was like, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Yeah, she had to save the skunks. I think. Well, I mean, I'm glad you saved the skunks, but to take them to an apartment.
They can't control their spray.
Yeah, I know. So, there are a lot of,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. I said, oh no.
Imagine a skunk. I don't even
Yeah.
think potato could take care of that.
And we had a really, my friend was telling me that, I was cracking up laughing. I was like, no way. I was like, skunks? Tell me a baby deer. Tell me, a rabbit or, kittens or, something, but skunks? I mean,
They're
okay,
cute.
if you want to save skunks, that's fine, but you have them outside somewhere. Don't take them to your mom's, high-rise apartment. Downtown Dallas. Are you kidding me? Like, what are you doing? I don't remember where it was. I just know it was an apartment that was several floors up. And yeah, they sprayed in the apartment and everybody was like, oh my gosh, it smells funny. They're like, oh, somebody must be smoking some wacky weed. It was hilarious. I was just dying. I was like, oh my gosh. It was terrible. But she does animal rescues. And if any of the stores we're at gets rid of like expired yogurts or like expired foods,
Uh-huh.
my friend will ask, if they can take it to the animal rescue because those animals will eat it,
Of course.
And I was like, okay. I mean, I don't know what skunks eat, but
probably. I don't know what they eat.
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I got a darn raccoon in my back that comes up on my back porch, and I've got it closed in. The damn thing finds its way in and eats all the cat food. Then I got a possum on the front porch that's open. So I guess he's going to come and he found his way into the other bag of cat food that's on the front porch. So
well,
now
that's
raccoons and possums, and I think they're gopher rats. And every morning I wake up, I get a gopher rat at my door.
Pinkstone, be careful. She says she's got a tornado warning there.
Oh no, Pinkstone.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah, be careful. We had one go through the other night. It was crazy. Was it last night, Shining? That
Uh,
bad storm was the night before.
I think it was the night before, because we had one just a few before you, just night before yours.
Okay.
And we got trees down all over the place. This
Yeah.
one tree, and I mean they're huge trees too. This one, I so should have stopped and taken a picture, but I didn't want somebody coming out with their, 22 pointing it at me or anything, because you were out here in the country. You just don't go up on somebody's property and be like, "Hey, I'm taking a picture of your tree here."
You're right. Well,
But
you don't want to put in your butt.
the tree from the very top all the way down was split in half.
Wow.
Half was still standing, the other half was on the ground. I mean, it was amazing to see. I don't mean a tree that was just like a big, huge branch was tore off or, what. No, it was sliced out like somebody just took a knife and went right down the middle.
Could it
Oh,
have
that's,
been lightning?
yeah, it must have been because it was rough. Remember, yeah, because this storm came up just out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's how ours did. It came up out of nowhere. It was like,
Yeah.
boom, there you are. And it actually broke my plexiglass. The wind
Mm,
was so, my front porch has plexiglass on one side of it, and it literally broke a corner off my plexiglass. And it was put up there with screws. The wind blew so hard, and I guess it caught it just right. It broke a piece off, and the plexiglass went flying.
mm,
And that was to shelter my window from the porch so the water don't get in.
yeah. Well, Indica sometimes says that skunks love cat food and bread. She used to feed 13 wild skunks.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Ink, we're kind of into boondocks. Yeah.
In a way, yeah. Same
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Mm. And Lenny feeds them cat soft food and week's worth of leftovers. And weasels. Out here we get the skunks, and my dogs like to go after them. I keep trying to tell them, don't go after the black and white creatures. Just leave them be, because then they stink, But they go after the armadillos and possums, raccoons, whatever. They'll go after anything. But yeah, so not too many creatures. I think a lot of the creatures kind of stay away from our property now that, with the dogs. They come in, they don't go back out. It's like, uh-oh, But I know we did have that big, huge mountain lion. That thing was huge. I said, oh, goodness. Out here where I live, you don't go out at night without a good security. You got to have some kind of protection, Yeah, or you make sure that somebody else is outside, they can hear you scream.
That's not how it is here. I'm afraid a swamp monster is going to come out of the creek back here behind me.
I'd be careful of gators out there, man.
Well, there's no gators over here. I mean, there is gators. I'm not going to lie to you that in the creek there's no gators because it's on private property. And I'm so afraid they're doing some kind of shit back there and they're creating in that lake. And
you mean to tell me because it's private property that the gators are going to stay off?
It don't have an inlet or an outlet.
They'll find their way in there. They'll find their way in. I'd be careful if I were you. They'll find their way in. They'll make it their home. Like, ooh, look, we got this to ourselves.
A gator walk up my driveway to get to the pond back there.
They might. You never know. They could. Gators in Florida go everywhere, man. I mean, we don't have gators. We got turtles, and
our gators
we got
8-foot fences.
We got see, we got snakes. I don't like them at all. I have no mercy for them. And they say there's good snakes and bad snakes. I'm sorry, y'all. I know there's snake lovers out there, and more power to you. But to me, no snake is a good snake. Nope. I don't do the snake thing. No, can't do it. They scare the bejesuses out of me. Mm-mm.
No, I'll eat me some snake.
No, I don't even do that. I don't want to eat it. I don't want to. Nope. 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 I'm no. No. And you know, as long as I don't see it and it stays away from me, I'm okay. Just,
Mm.
just leave me alone. You know. Yeah, but we've had a few that come up pretty close, and
Mhm.
we've had 2 copperheads that we've killed unknowingly.
Oh wow.
Yeah, one was with the lawnmower and the other was with the side by side. And I take great pride in the fact that I ran over that one with the side by side. I didn't know it, but until afterwards. But I still take great pride in the fact that I got that copperhead done and out with. You know. And then of course there's the wasp situation.
Oh yeah.
And we got them bad out here. And Brian, look, my husband goes, and he gets these things because we've got pest control. It comes out every 2 months now. It was every 3, and he's like, nope, we need to bump it up. Good weather's coming in. He got these things he ordered online. They're like those little paper lanterns, that you hang for parties and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like a light brown. It's supposed to deter wasps because they're supposed to think that it's a nest, right?
Right.
Well, we pressure washed in the back patio area, so we did the first coat of painting on it. Well, when we pulled him down, he looks at me and he says, "I thought this was supposed to deter them." I said, "I don't know what it does. I'm not the one who bought them. I don't know." Well, he goes, "Look at this. Inside of it, there was a wasp nest they were starting to build."
Oh wow.
I said, "Oh well, at least it's contained."
Right.
You pull it down, get it out of here. It just yeah, the wasps, we don't do that. My poor little boy, he got stung by one the other day. I said, "Uh-oh. Mm-mm-mm. Wasps are bad."
Yeah.
With those, we just kill with spray.
Hey, Charlie girl, and happy birthday to your mother-in-law. Our mother, yeah, my mother-in-law.
Oh, her 82nd birthday. Oh.
Oh, sweet. Ink, you're right. We don't underestimate the gators here. We catch them, we eat them.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Well,
I am no gator wrangler.
well,
I don't want to be.
take it on the grill. We won't play with it. We know what to do to kill it. We go
You
for
know what happened to me if I tried to wrangle a gator? I know what would happen to me. It would bite my leg off, bite my arm off. It might try to eat my body. I ended up in the hospital in ICU, and I'd eventually die from all this shit. It would be bad. I know my luck. You'd be like, this crazy lady, she thought she could take on that gator.
Easy, just let the thing grab me, take me underwater, and be done with me.
And I'd have the electrical tape, like I'd have that electrical tape in my hand, because that's what they used to put their jaws shut. I wouldn't even get that far. I could see myself in the ICU now, just stiff as a board, just like, oh. The one hand I had left would be clutching onto that electrical tape. Well, Mr. Shining, we've tried to pry it out of her hands, but she's got a death grip on it.
Mm-hmm. She tried hard to get that gator.
Yeah, it wouldn't. That would be no go for me. I couldn't. Mm-mm.
No, gator meat's good. I mean, I'm too old to catch it now. I have to let the youngins catch it. But we don't.
See, Lenny?
We do what we got to do with it.
She's her brother passed away, and they have his gravestone etched with a photo of him feeding his babies.
Aw, that's so
the raccoon.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
They really don't have anything poisonous in Maine? Man, we got them here. We got copperheads. We got black widows. Oh, Brian, when we were doing the back patio, we had you put stuff up and decorate. Had a little anchor thing over there. He pulled it down. All of a sudden, tosses it to the ground. He's like, oh, boom, he's stomping. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like a black widow. And he looked at me like, oh, crap. He's like,
Oh.
be careful. See, my son, my oldest, he travels a lot for work. But he's got his a restaurant, and I'll have to ask him again where it's at. State they travel through, but it's like a real, I guess people from now, I don't know, they know of it or whatever, but they serve gator, and he said it's really good.
We serve gator down here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's down there with you, but it wasn't in Florida.
A lot of the mom and pop shops down here around water.
Yeah.
They do gator with catfish or seafood places. They do gator, snake, exotic animals. Or not exotic animals.
Yeah, no.
Rabbit, squirrel.
Oh, yeah.
There are actually some restaurants down here that do it. But we can literally go to a store if we know where to go, the butcher or wherever. We can literally go to the store and buy gator meat. We can go to somebody on the side of the road if they've got like fresh catch. We can literally buy it off the side of the road from the dealer. I mean, gator meat's like everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with Charlie Girl. And Charlie Girl says, if it tastes like chicken, why not just eat chicken?
I know, I'm with Charlie Girl on that, but you gotta have a gator nugget. Gator nuggets are good.
I heard they're good, but a gator, I would probably try gator, but I can't do snake or anything like that. I can't do it.
Snake is good too. I mean,
No.
if it's cooked the right way, it's actually pretty good. Tastes like chicken, but I'm not kidding you.
No, can't do it. Won't do it.
The difference. You can tell the difference. I was gonna say something. I forgot. Oh, down here we eat trees. It's called swamp cabbage. Tell me y'all ain't never had swamp cabbage.
Never has swamp cabbage.
Don't know what you are missing.
No, I eat regular cabbage. Like cabbage.
It's the heart of a palm tree. That's what we pull it down.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I've never had it though.
The palmettos, yeah.
So you get a whole palm tree for just a little bit of food on the inside?
Yep. No, yeah.
Oh, Lenny, you so right, honey. You are so right. Keep your lizards, snakes, tornadoes, sweaty boobs. No.
I think I want to agree with her on all of that. I don't like lizards anymore. Snakes, I will eat them, but I will not be near them. Tornadoes, y'all's keep that shit where y'all's at too. That hurts. That's right, Well, sometimes you can't go get chicken when you're out camping. I know what it is. Ink knows what it is. And that's some good shit.
That's right, Lenny. Lenny, that's what cabbage is good for. Remember my bikini top? I'm a cabbage girl. And that was because Indica was saying it. Somebody was laughing really hard about it. And it was like, no, it's actually when you breastfeed, they're supposed to do that, to keep mastitis happening and stuff. Put them cabbage leaves on there.
I've heard about that. They say put it on your legs too. If you have like edema in your legs, edema, to put wet cabbage leaves on your legs. Something about the leaf, it does something to it. There's something in it.
Yeah, well, I can tell you this right now. Do not leave cabbage outside on your table when it's freezing. Because that cabbage will look just like it did when you left it there. Frozen. That's what happened. I had mine sitting there. It was frozen. Like, oh, man.
Oh, wow. Now, do you know the big seasoning that you guys get up there called Everglade seasoning?
Everglade seasoning?
Mm-hmm.
Honey, we're in Texas, not Florida.
Well, it's all over now. It's Everglade seasoning. It's one of the bigger seasonings. It's called Everglade.
I set seasonings in a lot of stores, and I have never seen it. Just saying.
Everglades. Oh shit! Hold on a minute. Let me get you a thing because that was actually founded in Lehigh Acres, where I grew up. I grew up in Fort Myers, Florida, so it actually was founded there, and it's actually a really big seasoning. You're telling me you don't never heard of Everglades seasoning? Oh my gosh! It's just like
Mm.
the butt rub, Everglades seasoning.
Oh, it's like butt rub. We
Yeah,
got
it's like
that.
rub. All right, I'm gonna send you a picture right quick. Hold on. Walmart has it.
I'll look for it when I'm in there next time, but I've never seen it.
I'm gonna
Yeah, holistic cures. I do think holistic cures are really good.
sending you a picture. You're probably gonna have a
Oh, United, she liked my cabbage bikini. I thought it was sexy. And I didn't want to, like, porn bomb or anything, so I had to put it over my robe. But could you just imagine if I didn't have my robe on?
Oh my god! You need to quit. Well, that went south right quick.
Ink's heard of it. Yeah, she said they got it at Walmart. It's in Everglades. Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
bomb.
it sure is. That was created about my high school year.
Hmm.
It came
Well,
out of Florida, the Everglades. That's why it's called the
if
Everglades.
I see it, I'll buy it and try it. And if it's not good, I'm coming after you.
Fine, come on.
Like, it's no good.
Right.
Here's your daggone Coca-Cola I owe you.
I'm talking butter pecan.
Oh yeah, that's something. I'm having some now with my coffee.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking.
It's good. Y'all haven't ever? No, I ain't gonna tell anybody else. Because I was in the store. There was a guy sitting, the older gentleman. He's looking at creamer like he's trying to figure out which one to get. And what do I do? Like a fool. Okay, I go and I was like, "Oh, sir, have you ever tried?" And I'm just another customer. Have you ever tried this? As I'm grabbing him for me. And he goes, "No, I haven't tried that one." I said, "Oh, it's so good. It's really." And he got one. Well, now I can't. I've turned a couple people onto it, and I have a hard time getting a hold of it. So, but it's really good. See, they sell it.
Yeah, it's at Walmart.
Yeah, so I don't have. Oh, look. Yeah, Lenny. Not just anybody can pull off the cabbage look. You're right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, Ink. And Belgrade, Florida. They sell it everywhere.
The trading post there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, next time I go down there, I'll have to look for some.
I'll pick you some up. Don't worry.
I wonder if my son has some. He might have tried it. I'll have to ask him.
I'll have to dox you. I'll dox you, but not up here. I'll get you some.
Okay.
I'll send you some.
Like, here you go.
I'll send you some. You'll love it. Your tongue will slap the back end of your brain. It's going to be so good.
But just know my I actually have a street address. That's not a hotel or anything. My my address doesn't have room number on it. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Although my address, a friend of mine, she did tell me, one of my best friends, she says, "That is not an address, honey. That's a UPC code for something you're selling at a store." Well, we live out in the country, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, they sell it online. I'll have to look online then.
You can even get it at Save a Lot, I think, now, because they are Save a Lot here because I'm not gonna give myself away, but we're pretty far out in the country. And our Save a Lot here, because we're so country, has they have mom and pop brands in it. The like seasonings, and then they have all the bigger brands in it. You know, like your famous butt rub is there. Then they'll have Old Pete's rub, or like Pilgrim's Farms rub. Then of course the Everglades and things like that. So it's all there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I have to look for it. We just did a big, huge seasoning reset not too long ago, and it wasn't in there. I promise you. I can tell you everything that was in it. I did so many of them.
Yeah, yeah. Frog legs are the best, Lenny. Mm.
Mystery meat. What you mean, mystery meat? You got frog legs and snake and a mystery meat?
Mystery meat is usually roadkill. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. That's what is mystery meat? Or you could still use your old address as an address and run over from your multi-room luxury.
Oh my god.
Ooh. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to dance. We're gonna have a dance party all night.
Oh
A
yeah.
dance party all night. Yeah. Dance the night away.
Yeah, roadkill and woodchuck. You never know what is. You just know you better eat.
Yeah, I don't do the roadkill thing. Although,
Well, I mean, roadkill is like fresh. Like if you get a coon, or if you get a possum. Well, I don't think we do possum.
is that how y'all went hunting, Dusty?
Yeah, we would prefer.
We just went. We got in the car and we just hit an animal on the road. We didn't have to shoot nothing.
Or you could like hit a pig on accident, deer. Um, if we hit it and it laid on the side of the road, sometimes we get stare on accident. All of that.
Look. Did you see United for Survivors? Okay. Don't nobody validate me.
I'm validating you.
Lenny said she said you were poor. You just say thank you for the hospitality.
Yep. That's true.
Hey, man, you don't have to be poor to go out and hunt and have roadkill and stuff. But that don't mean.
We would go hunt frogs, bullfrogs, wild boar. Um,
I was just thinking it was easier to go hit them by the car than to shoot them.
gator. We would hunt gator when it was in season. Well, we were allowed to shoot it back then. I've actually been chased by a gator.
Hey, MC's down there.
Hi, MC.
Hope Bella doing well. Yeah, I think we're all doing well. We're hanging in there, girl. Hopefully you are too. Knock 3 times on the ceiling, baby. Yeah, knock 3 times. I think I could knock on the ceiling more than 3 times.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that too, Lenny. We've had squirrels too.
Oh, y'all. Oh my goodness. Dusty. Listen,
What?
y'all. Listen. You know, a few weeks ago, well, I don't know how long ago it's been. It's been maybe a few months, you know. It's been a while. Get to that, you know, that hotel issue I had with the cockroaches?
Mm-hmm.
How horrible it was. Well, I get down here to this hotel. Not that one I'm in now. I go in to get checked in, have to go up to the 2nd floor, no elevator. Wonderful. Take my luggage up there, walk in the room, put my luggage down, plug my phone in because I thought my phone had been charging the whole way and it had not. It was dead. Like dead, you know. So I'm checking the room. I'm banging on the refrigerator, making sure there's not 100 cockroaches underneath it, like that one hotel. And I go in the bathroom, and there was a very, very healthy, big old fat cockroach.
Hmm.
I kill it, right? Boom, dead. Try to wash him down. His little body parts are probably still in there because they probably hadn't gone in there to clean him up, you know. And I go back out. I'm looking in the sink area. I'm looking around, surveying, you know, what else is out here, you know. And I turn back around. I look up. There's a cockroach on the ceiling.
Oh my god.
I go and I grab my stuff. I'm mad by this point because I'm like, great. Now I had to lug this stuff back downstairs. Oh my goodness. And as I'm grabbing my suitcase, there's a cockroach on the floor by the chair.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, heck no. I go down. She says, I said, ma'am, y'all have a problem. You got cockroaches? She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. As if they don't know, you know? And I said, well, I'm not doing this, you know? And she's like, well, I can change rooms. I said, oh no, I've been down this road before. And they're in the building. Elvis is not left. Look, I'm not doing it. I have to change hotels again. It was a little too much deja vu there because I pull up to this hotel and I look at the guy just like last time. Only I wasn't as much of a hot mess as I was, you know, a couple months back.
Uh-huh.
You know, my hair wasn't all over the place and I drenched in sweat and rainwater and everything else. I just walk in, checking in. Reservation should have come through already. And the hotel's only like that hotel's 5-10 minutes up the road. And it was in a nice part of town. I really didn't expect for them to have cockroaches in there.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. But I was like, man, I called my boss. It's like, I am not sleeping with cockroaches. Because she had said, well, I know that there's bugs. And I said, no, we're talking cockroaches, honey. I'm not talking a beetle. I'm not talking a little fly, a little moth. I'm talking cockroaches. I'm not sleeping with them.
No.
Well, no. I don't expect that. But, you know, and I was like, hey, you can either give me a different hotel without cockroaches or I'm going home.
Exactly.
Plain and simple. You know, I walk in here and I ask the guy who's checking me in, do y'all have a cockroach problem? He looks at me, excuse me? Do you have a cockroach problem? No, cockroaches? I said, yeah. No, ma'am. No. Absolutely not. I said, well, you better not because you'll hear from me if you do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
No cockroaches here so far.
That's
I
good.
haven't seen not even a fly, not a nothing.
Where did they send you to? Georgia this time?
No, I'm still in Texas. I'm just down south.
Oh.
I'm southern Texas. Southern.
So then I thought they sent you up towards Georgia.
Mm. No. Not towards Georgia.
Yeah, I have to go up there, Georgia, at the tip here in a couple of weeks.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
I don't know.
You don't know. You know. You know.
The southern tip. I have to pick up a part for my brother. And he told me I have to stay at a day's end, so I don't know where. It's all the way. It's almost in Tennessee where I gotta go, but it's just right there on that northern tip.
You gotta go through North Carolina or South Carolina or anything? No, you're on the other. You're going the other way.
Through.
Mm.
I have to go straight through Georgia. It's
Yeah.
all the way up there, so I'm probably gonna take a rest up towards Topeka. I don't know yet.
Well, just get online and check out the hotels and make sure there's no roaches or unsightly creatures running around.
Mm-hmm. Well, I saw the plate, so I was thinking about it.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Not all hotels are the same. They're not all equal. Some hotels will let any riffraff in, including the roaches. It's terrible. Terrible. I just don't do them. I can't do it. And then the guy gets here. When I get here, the guy says, "Is it just you? No animals?" You know, they always ask if you're traveling with animals. No, I'm not bringing any of my dogs with me. And he says I'm not allowed to have any guests. Which, first off, I don't know who he thinks I'm gonna have. I'm like, well, Okay. But he said because of COVID, we have no guests unless you're staying here at the hotel. I said, really? I'm thinking, oh, that's interesting. I thought it kind of got died down, but apparently I can't even have a guest in my hotel room.
Where does CJ go? She got quiet.
She might be sleeping, it's pretty late over there.
Yeah, maybe.
United for Survivors. What's she got them animals in there for? Look at that. She got shrimp, gator, chicken, rabbit, octopus, turtle. She got the I love you sign. Choo-choo. Aw. And then all those animals people eat too. They do. But all right, well we're going on almost 2 hours and I've got
Yeah.
to get up early and get going to work and all that good stuff.
Well, thank you for having me up there, and thank you, ladies. Thank you for
Well,
coming.
thank you for coming up. And
I hope you guys have a good evening.
yeah,
Night.
yeah. Thank you guys for coming on by and hanging out with us for a little bit. And we might have to talk about this subject matter again at another point. Think of other things that how we can deal with it and cope with it, and as continue the journey and continue on this path and the different things that happen or different situations that come up. Um, thank you guys again for coming by, and hopefully you guys had a little bit of fun, even though we talk about some serious stuff. And hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Today is Wednesday, middle of the week. We're almost to the weekend. We're halfway there. So thank you guys again, and we'll see. Thank you. Okay. All right. We'll do that, Lenny. 20 more minutes. All right. Cool. All right, guys. You guys have a good night. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend if I don't talk to you before then.